That is how rents have gone in the last 10 years. And tenants are wondering how they can respond to their rental increases. And we're going to talk about that today, the rental market in Sydney and how tenants can respond to their rental increases. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Cleo with here, expert property manager with over 20 years of experience in property management. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. Hope everyone is well. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm pumped. Let's get into it.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so that graph I just showed, the 10-year graph.
Yeah.
And look, I feel for everyone. I feel for landlords as well. I feel for tenants as well. I feel for everyone. But that graph shows 10 years ago, $600 a week. Today, it's just short of $900 a week. So over 10 years, there has been a change of about 50%. So is that the number? There's been a change of about 57. Hang on. 47%. Yeah, 57. 50% on your rent change there. So it's pretty big. So, the tenants are getting love letters from their landlord saying your rent's gone up. Landlords are thinking, my council rates have gone up, my water rates have gone up, my strata rates have gone up. Some landlords are dealing with double or triple their mortgage repayments due to what interest rates have done. And then they sort of try to inflict pain on their tenant because they're feeling the pain as well. I guess fair's fair. But tenants have rights, and we wanted to talk about what's fair, what's not fair, and what rental increases. First question for expert property manager is, how does the conversation start before it gets to the tenant?
Usually a landlord will want to do a rent review. It's not an increase, it's a review. And we will go online and do research. What's renting in the same unit block, for example, what's recently leased. We use the portals like RP data. We also use realestate.com. And we will do a report for the owner that shows demographics, graphs like you just showed. But more importantly, if the property was to come on the market, what would we achieve in comparison with what the owner is proposing for a rent increase? So the property manager will do research on the increased amount. It's not like commercial where it's based on CPI or anything like that. We go online and we just look at comparables when we make our suggestion to the landlord. They will then go away, have a look into it. A lot of our clients also look at the longevity of the tenant. When was the last increase, how much it was increased for, and then they'll come up with their decision and then get back to us. Then we will approach the tenant.
So from a tenant's perspective, they open the letterbox, they get the letter, email or letterbox?
Email. So
Email.
most tenants now have the electronic consent form to say that they can receive all notices via email, in which case we would then send them the email of the increase. It's a 60-day notice and only one can be applied per year.
And they open up the love letter email and they go like, WTF, like this is shit. I cannot believe this. Is there anything else that can go wrong today? What are their rights? Do they just accept it? Do they go, that's fair? Can they sort of, what's the next move from there if they've got an issue with that? They pick up the phone or they go into ChatGPT and reply?
Usually they will send an email back saying, is there anything you can do? The property manager is the mediator. If they feel that the increase is not justified or their circumstances can't support that and it may force them out, they will definitely send us an email or a phone call and just say, look, is there anything you can do? I'm happy for an increase, but can we negotiate the amount? So instead of $60, can we do $40 or $30? And then we go back to the landlord, and then we, let them know about the tenant. As a property manager, you have to do that. Like if the tenant vacates because you didn't pass on that they weren't happy and the landlord was happy to do a $10, negotiation, that's not up to us to decide. That's up to the landlord. So they've also, the client's going to have reletting fees. They're going to possibly achieve more than the increase. So some clients are like, well, that's fine if they leave. I don't care. But in that negotiation instance, you've got 60 days in which to go back and forward with the owner and see if you can come up with a solution.
How much of the time would there be a movement off that initial email? So would half of them meet somewhere less, or would all of them go through, or 90% of them go through at the full amount?
In this market, I find that I'd say 10% want to negotiate. The remaining accept it. They just accept it and they don't respond at all. It's just silence. In which case, as a property manager, you're not going to poke the tenant and go, oh, did you get my increase? Did you like that? Like, how do you feel?
Not
You're
going to
not
do
going
that.
to, silence is golden. So the only thing that can come from the silence, however,
I
is
didn't
a
get
notice
it.
to vacate.
Oh,
Sorry?
okay. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, I didn't get it.
Oh, you can't do that these days. It's all in the software. It's all recorded. So if the email goes through and it says delivered. So once it's delivered in the communication history, you know that you're set pretty much. And then at the same time, the software also sends a reminder prior to the increase. But not just that, all our tenants are using a third party rent service. So when we initiate a rent increase, we also adjust the rent with their third party rent account, in which case they then also get notification from the software from that portal saying, we've changed an amount from 700 to 750. So it's like a double whammy. You might not have got the letter, but you also got the SMS from the software saying we've changed your automatic debit. So yeah.
So from the 1 out of 10 tenants that dispute, how many are successful with the dispute?
I would probably say 50-50. It all comes down to the client and what they're willing to budge. Sometimes we've just gone blanket no, this is more than justified. Even with the increase, your
Below.
rent is below market value. And
Yeah.
often they will go online and have a look and go, oh, I can't move. Like, I'm going to be paying way more than this $30 increase. So the savvy tenant won't push if they're, vulnerable in that instance.
Fair.
However, we do have owners that are happy to negotiate to keep the tenant happy. But then on the flip side, they might want to lock in a lease agreement. They might want to do a fixed term and say, look, I'll negotiate $5 or $10, but you're signing up for 12 months. That's the flip side.
And do you find the tenant, the one increase a year limitation that's been put in place is just like life now, or is it easier for tenants, harder for tenants?
I think the one increase per year might affect the tenants in a way that they think the landlord might gouge their rent increase because they can only do one per year. So when you could do two per year, you might do it in increments. It's less of a sting. Whereas one per year, they go, no, I'm going to go the full
Whack.
$100. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Bit
Yeah.
of a waste of space,
Um,
that piece of legislation, I reckon. The tenants that are still not happy, so they're the 1 out of 10 that have got the rental increase, they're still not happy. They've spoken with you, you've spoken with the landlord, you've spoken with them, you've spoken with the landlord, you've spoken with them, you've bounced around, still no resolution. Is it sort of FIFO sort of fit in, or do you is there another avenue like a tribunal or somewhere they can go if they want to have this adjudicated, like to take it away from what? Is there,
There's,
what do they do?
it's funny, there's no legislation that stipulates an amount as being excessive. There's nothing in the, elusive, Residential Tenancies Act that can be interpreted in so many ways. But there's nothing that actually says, you can't go above 10%. You can't, if it's justified. So what can be justified? Like if you're, like I said, a property manager and you're sending an increase and you know that the property next door is getting X amount and you can justify that, what is a member at NCAT going to do? I've not yet heard a case at tribunal or NCAT where they've ruled in favour of an increase being excessive, especially in this market, because nothing is excessive. There's so many properties that just haven't caught up with market value right now. Coming out of COVID, they're still incrementally getting there. And now with the no 90-day notices, a landlord can't just, run the gauntlet, get the tenant out and put it on the market. So there has to be a bit of give there. And I feel NCAT has got to rule in favour of the landlord somewhere in the middle, because you can't get them out and get at market value. You can only do one increase per year. So yeah, if you can show hardship, which is another real great term, council rates, how much have they gone up? It was just advertised in the news how much council rates are going up, water rates, landlord insurance, all those things that you can show and prove as a landlord. You need that increase, regardless if it might be $10 a bit more than the unit next door. You could also argue mine has better sunlight, I have a car space, I have a garage. Like, it's not ruled upon at NCAT at this point, and I don't feel a tenant's going to waste their time going to NCAT for an increase. They just will move. They'll just give notice and try and find something cheaper.
I think our friends in government have been beating up landlords with legislation and taxes in the at crazy things they're doing to landlords. That landlords are just selling their assets and moving out of the market. So it's making rental increases more prevalent because there's less investment properties in the market. So interesting talk. Thank you very much this morning. Anything
you.
else you want to add on the rental increase note for tenants before we go?
Just reach out to your property manager. We are human. We will pass on your information, and sometimes you'll be surprised an owner might meet you in the middle. It is a negotiation, but just look as well at your circumstances. The cost of moving is expensive and it is difficult out there. You're not guaranteed the property. You're guaranteed where you're living right now. For an extra $20-$30, is it really worth it? Just have a good think and have a good look. That's all.
Have a good day. Gold fingers come out. You are
Oh
right,
no,
Cleo. You are right.
that's scary.
Take
Bye
care.
guys. See you next
Thanks,
week.
legend. Cheers. Bye-bye.